You're watching UTV. My name's Nikki V, and oh my goodness, have we got an amazing show for you. Now, I'm going to ask you a question or two. If good health, slow aging, avoiding frailty and illness are important to you, you're going to want to hang around for the next 50 minutes, okay? Seriously, you want to join us for this show because it's what I call the magnesium and calcium discovery show. And we're going to go really deep dive on the science of why we need both and what we're actually deficient in. And it will blow your mind when you find out. Now, I couldn't do this kind of show without somebody that we all trust and we will sit and listen to for 50 minutes when they're talking about magnesium. It is, of course, Vic Cherikoff. Welcome back to UTV, Vic.
Thank you.
Now, this is something that you're very passionate about. I know they're two critical minerals.
Yeah.
Talk us through.
They are so important, and it's interesting that in many ways we're sort of, like with a lot of the products I actually introduced to the market, about 5 to 15 years ahead of the general mainstream science in a way, what's reported and what's out there. Even doctors are way behind the eight ball as well when it comes to things like calcium and even a good understanding of magnesium. I mean, I don't want to confuse you too much, but I mean, this in a way is what we're going to be talking about. A simple model talking about this is the cardiovascular system, the heart and blood vessels, cardiovascular. It could also be the cerebral vascular system as well. But this really is trying to break down why inflation's so important as a triggering factor to all our illnesses and disease states. We've got problems with the heart. There's a real interesting paradox, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. A little bit about bones, and some of us are worried about bone density and basically losing strength in our bones and the ability to help the risk of fracturing them. And in fact, why minerals are so important to the healing of fractures as well in bones. And then lastly, our muscles. What's happening as we get older? Muscles are being wasted, sarcopenia and frailty is the upshot. So that's it in a nutshell, but there's a whole lot more to come.
Okay, so to wrap it, to paraphrase that, not wrap it, I'm not sending you off yet, Vic. We're going to be talking about aging. We're going to be talking about minerals in our diets today. We're also going to discuss high levels of calcium and not enough magnesium. Why is adequate magnesium critically important? And the problems, did you believe it, with excessive calcium? Now, I'm going to get straight into the deal because I know that you're going to want to purchase straight away and listen to the rest of the show. So the deal, there's a choice of two deals. We've got two deals for you today. Now, you can try Vic's magnesium product and get 2 pouches of Karawa Active Magnesium, which is basically about 2 months worth of supporting your metabolism, organs and system, providing you with a sustained energy and fewer cramps and a sharper mental health, while also reducing the risk of aging badly and quickly. Now, that investment in so much health and healing is just $92.95 plus P&H. Or you can get 2 free express postage on 2 pouches of Karawa Active Magnesium, plus 2 jars of Chanka Plus, which include an additional 80 capsules of this amazing calcium modifying, health promoting health food blend. And the package investment is $181.45 delivered to your door, express post at no extra cost. But before we go any further on this journey with Vic, let's listen to the magnesium story.
While we are constantly told that calcium is essential for healthy teeth and bones, we all know people who have consumed dairy products all their lives and in their later years may have suffered from broken legs, hips and other bones from even a simple fall. A reason for this could be the imbalance between calcium and magnesium intake. Even though we're told through our lives to increase our levels of calcium for joint support, bone strength, muscle cramping, and other conditions, calcium, however, is often not enough. Without magnesium, calcium may not be fully utilized, and underabsorption problems may occur, leading to health issues. Do you feel constantly tired, have a lack of energy, or have that overwhelming feeling? It could be that you're not only consuming enough magnesium, but your supplement could also be the wrong type of magnesium. Magnesium that can be purchased from a store can be a magnesium in the form of inorganic salts that can come with warnings on their labels. For example, bloating, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and high doses can have serious complications. Introducing Karawa Active Magnesium. considered by some as the world's best source and natural form of magnesium, and the way in which we should be consuming this important food ingredient. Loaded with the most magnesium-rich ingredients on the planet, Caroa Active Magnesium contains the Australian naked pumpkin seed. This ingredient is known as one of the highest sources of magnesium in the world. The formulation also has sunflower seeds, which are rich in zinc, selenium, and manganese. These seeds also provide the body with the essential proteins and fats to assist the body's cardiovascular system. Caroa's active magnesium also contains wild foods such as lemon and anise myrtle that are extremely high in antioxidants to assist with cognitive enhancement, antioxidants and other phytonutrients. Australian-grown shiitake mushrooms are also added, and this provides the body with the all-important vitamin D for calcium and magnesium balance, skeletal and metabolic support. If you're taking too much calcium, you need to balance with magnesium, and one of the best ways is with a source of natural magnesium, like Caroa Active Magnesium. Magnesium is so important to the human body and is essential in supporting over 325 enzymes which are responsible for our metabolic function. Humans need to consume magnesium regularly, as low levels have been reported to have contributed to a wide range of health issues. The problem we face as a society in our Western diet is our calcium levels are sitting at a staggering 10-to-1 ratio of calcium to magnesium, when the desired ratio should be 1.7 to 1. This should convince us all to find a whole food source as an active natural source of magnesium that's easily absorbed into our system and side effect free to get our recommended daily intake. 100 years ago, we enjoyed a diet high in magnesium with a daily intake of 500 milligrams. Today, we're lucky to get 200 milligrams, and calcium in the diet has never been higher.
Blows your mind, doesn't it? Literally, when you think about it. And Vic's going to be going into the science in a little bit more detail. You're watching UTV. My name's Nikki V, and welcome to Caroa Activated Magnesium. That couldn't be going out there without the Chanka Plus as well. Vic, tell us a little bit more.
Okay, no, thanks, Nikki. The whole deal with these two minerals particularly is that calcium on the one hand, and everybody tells us we've got to eat more and more calcium. Doctors are recommending it. You go and try and buy some vitamin D if you want to create more expensive urine, as I've got a habit to say. But you go and buy vitamin D in a chemist or even the supermarket, and so many of them come with calcium as well. Go and try and buy nut milk, if I can say that. So the milk people or the dairy people are saying you can't call it nut milk, but anyway, the white stuff that comes out of nuts is a liquid. It's fortified with calcium. You have to search high and low to be able to find one that doesn't have calcium enrichment, which is not really enrichment. I call it impoverishment. But we'll say more about that, because in the old days, traditionally, pre-agricultural times, we got very little calcium into our diet. So we were eating the cartilage from animal foods. We were eating nuts wherever we could get it. We were eating the seafood and so forth, and foraging around for foods in many ways became a hunt for calcium. So our bodies became extremely efficient and we evolved grabbing whatever calcium came in our diet. Mm-hmm. Now, on the other hand, magnesium was plentiful. It's in all the food. The soils were rich. Anything that you ate was plant-based, and even some animals, because they're eating the plants as well, delivered lots and lots of magnesium. So it was sort of almost a ubiquitous mineral. And the challenge also is that it's not just two minerals that we have to worry about. We also need iron and copper and zinc and selenium and molybdenum and blah, blah, blah. Sulfur, it goes on and on. And so what we've done here, what I've done with the product, is I've delivered a whole host of different minerals, and at the same time focused on the balance that's required between calcium and magnesium. Mm-hmm. And in many ways, if you want to avoid aging badly, it's almost like a good cop, bad cop scenario, okay? And so we've got adequate magnesium is absolutely critically important. We'll tell you a little bit more about where it plays a role in all our biochemistry. And in a way, excess calcium is the bad cop.
Right.
Okay, and it basically hammers us. In fact, calcium now we're finding is at the basis of so many causes of inflammation in the body. It looks like it's part of pretty much every disease that you actually can focus on, whether it's mental disease, whether it's all sorts of rogue cells, but even other things like loss of eyesight, cataracts. It just goes
And yet
on and on.
we are pushed and told continuously that we're not consuming enough calcium.
Absolutely.
Therein lies the paradox.
No one should be taking a calcium supplement unless there's a real medical reason to have it, and then I'd still be getting a second and a third opinion. Calcium is more than adequate in the diet. And let's not forget, calcium's now in bread preservatives, calcium propionate. It's in thickeners. You can't buy a commercial jam that doesn't have calcium in it, because calcium these days is used to set pectin. All right. In the old days, you'd cook up, you'd have to put the seeds of lemons as well as the juice of lemon in pretty much everything you cook to make a jam, and the pectin set, whether it did or not, depending on how much sugar, and it's a real touch and go. With calcium, sure, the pectin's now calcium sensitive. You can actually make it set to the exact viscosity you want with the right amount of calcium.
Okay.
The jams have got calcium
So
now.
riddle me this. Why have you teamed the active magnesium with the Chanka Plus?
Really, really good question, because essentially the Chanka Plus has got a herb that grows all the way around the equator, both sides, even down into the subtropics from the equator, grows in Australia and in South America. It's part of Ayurvedic medicine in India. It's part of traditional Asian medicine as well. And it's got phytonutrients that do a whole range of things, from changing blood sugar and lowering the blood sugar response, and basically making muscles more sensitive to glucose, which is a good thing. You might have heard about all those things with diabetes and other things. But the other thing is, what we're really looking to do is get this product into a whole food, and that was the whole concept for the Chanka, and then get it in a system where once it's inside, what happens is that it starts to gelatinize calcium that's deposited in our soft tissues.
Oh,
All right.
So hard calcium.
Calcium, effectively, we have our soft tissues, that's our blood vessels,
Yep.
typically our arteries. We have neurons in our brain. We have tissues, whether it's the bladder or the prostate, breast tissue in women, prostate in men. Pretty much every one of our tissues is subjected to taking up calcium that comes from bone, because that's where it's stored, and essentially floats through the blood, and then ultimately we either excrete it if we can, but because we're almost evolved to hang on to that calcium, it then can go only in one place, and that's deposited into soft tissue. So our arteries are calcifying, our brain are calcifying. Now, the interesting thing is it's not a calcium problem as such, but if we've been eating ultra-processed foods, which are high in calcium from chemical sources, if we've been not reading labels, as I said before, and we're buying stuff, the nut milk is meant to be meant to be healthy for you, but it's been laced with calcium that you just don't need. We are actually in a state of magnesium deficiency. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about the magnesium that you buy in tablets in the supermarket, because again, this is crushed rocks. And I searched the world, and I've travelled all over the place looking for cultures that actually ate crushed rocks, and there's not many of them. In fact, I've not found one. So that's, for some reason, they're crushing rocks and then putting it in tablets, and they're saying, oh, this is great magnesium, we need 200 milligrams of it. Well, we actually don't, because what those tablets deliver is between 2 and maybe 20% calcium if you're really, really lucky. Magnesium, if you're really, really lucky. So we're not even absorbing the magnesium that we're buying in those expensive tablets. So again, expensive urine, yeah? But we need magnesium, and that's the whole rationale behind going whole food, with a bulk of a whole range of different minerals as well, other nutrients, proteins, carbs that we need. The whole deal comes up as a whole food, and we're even using mushrooms to deliver vitamin D. Mm-hmm. Now, what I actually do at home is I buy mushrooms, and I prefer the heavy gilled variety, so the portobello mushrooms or oyster mushrooms or shiitake mushrooms, where the gills are showing, not closed up, as in button mushrooms. Put them out in the sun for the day, and they will make vitamin D for you which, okay, if you listen to Big Pharma, they'll say only synthetic D3 is what you need, but it's not true. D2 is quite happily made by the mushrooms and is converted to the active form because it binds with magnesium.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to get into the deal just to recap there. So you've said that calcium in our arteries will give cholesterol a place to stick and can
Correct.
raise things like blood pressure as the artery blocks over time, heart attacks and stroke are serious outcomes of that happening.
Absolutely.
So we're addressing some of those, potentials here. Now, what I'd like you to do is take a look at the deal on your screen. Now, you've got two options here. You can get 2 pouches of your Carala and the magnesium, which is 2 months worth of supporting your metabolisms, organs and system, giving you sustained energy, fewer muscle cramps, and also reducing the risk of aging badly and quickly. Now, that will be $92.95 plus P&H. Or you can get 2 magnesium plus 2 jars of the Chanka Plus that we recommend. That whole duo is the way to go, with the amazing calcium modifying health promoting whole food blends for $181 and free postage and handling. So just use the number on your screen or go to, it's AussieSuperfoods.com, isn't it?
AussieSuperfoods.com and you can go /
Yeah.
I think it's the-MG-CA-equation. But there is a, the website, you can go right to just AussieSuperfoods.com
Just go to
and you'll
website.
find it that way for sure.
Now, where are we going, Vic? Take us back.
Okay, so it'd be great to sort of just run through some of the ingredients
Wait a
again.
minute. Why do we often hear that we need more calcium in our diet? Where's that come from?
Well, that's sort of left over from the fact that Big Pharma can put out tests, blood tests for doctors, and you can very easily screen for calcium because calcium gets into our blood quite readily. It gets, there's quite a bit circulating in our blood. And the reason for that is that calcium is not just in bones and teeth, but it's also part of cell signaling, nerve conduction. You might have heard of synapses where the nerve joints, the little connections between neurons in the brain, effectively speed the communication and modify the communication, whether it's excitatory or relaxing responses or whatever. But that's done through neurotransmitters, and these chemicals are secreted from one end of the nerve to the beginning of the next nerve, and it crosses this little synaptic cleft. Now, calcium and magnesium are actually in there. One of them is causing the release of the neurotransmitter, and the other one is actually is responsible for taking up the neurotransmitter. And even a bit of recycling happens. So the neurotransmitter is not just disappearing, but it's recycled and is able to be reused. But the whole uptake and cycling of the neurotransmitters through our brain, and we've got trillions of neurons, and I hate to think of the number of synaptic junctions, they're all dependent on calcium and magnesium in the right proportions. Who hasn't had muscle cramps in their life? And the problem is when they're really, really tight and your muscle tightens up because it's almost contracting, ready to break the bone. And sometimes when you wake up, if it happens at night, you wake up in the morning and you've still got an aching muscle. That is too much calcium because calcium causes muscles to contract, whereas magnesium is the sister product.
I was going to ask
and it causes
you,
it to relax.
Yeah, I was going to ask you exactly what I'm sat at home now. What am I feeling that leads me to know that I have too much calcium in my body or not enough magnesium?
Well, good question. I mean, the cramps is one thing, okay? That's a good sign that you're not getting enough magnesium. You never really have to worry about getting too much calcium. You are getting too much calcium, and it's already in our tissues. It's because we eat a modern diet, because we might dabble in a few ultra-processed foods like jams and others that are commercially made. Thickeners, most soy products are thickened and stabilised with calcium. It's almost ubiquitous in most foods that go through some sort of processing step. But so you can forget about the calcium intake as such, just read labels and try and reduce your calcium intake, but you have to do something about it. And the interesting thing is a lot of doctors have said, and this is sort of a big jump, it's an assumption that doctors have made in the medical industry and then big pharma, oh, this is great, it's going to bring in a lot of dollars. The medical industry has basically said, well, we know that calcium is part of the structural integrity of bones and teeth, and as we reach an older age and we start to find osteoporosis a concern, or even muscle loss, is also a calcium-magnesium imbalance. And once that starts to happen, they think, well, we need to add more calcium to somehow get it to cement into the bones and stop the bones from losing their density and from losing calcium into the bloodstream. What actually is happening is that it is a magnesium deficiency, because magnesium will bind to vitamin D to activate it, and then take calcium that's floating around in your blood, circulating in the blood. The vitamin D, once it gets to the, it will actually move calcium from the blood into the bone. The problem is it only just sits in the bone cells. It does nothing from there, but the vitamin D activated by magnesium will put calcium into the bones. If there's not enough magnesium, calcium then just keeps circulating, bypasses the bone tissue and the teeth, and then it ends up somewhere in our soft tissues. Problem. Now, once the calcium is in the bone, we need more magnesium. We also need vitamin K2. We need a number of hormones and other good conditions, and even a little bit of energy, which is ATP, the molecule of energy. The currency of energy is the ATP molecule. It can only get out of where it's made and then into some useful form if it's bound with magnesium. So if you're feeling tired at home, you're always sort of almost overworked, overwhelmed mentally, but you've also just don't have the energy to get up and go, somewhere it got up and went. Well, it went with the magnesium that you're not getting, okay?
Right.
So low energy, cramps often, these are starting to become sort of classic indicators of low magnesium.
Okay, well, let's go through the deal, because all you have to do is go to the website, call the number on your screen, and you'll be able to get, there's two deals. You can get 2 months of Caro activated magnesium for the price on your screen, but I suggest that you go for the 2 months of Caro activated magnesium plus the 2 Chanka Plus, so you know that you're really balancing things out for that incredible price that you see on your screen, which comes with free express postage. Now, if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what we are chatting about, let's take a little look at this video that will explain where we've come up to.
While we are constantly told that calcium is essential for healthy teeth and bones, we all know people who have consumed dairy products all their lives and in their later years may have suffered from broken legs, hips and other bones from even a simple fall. A reason for this could be the imbalance between calcium and magnesium intake. Even though we're told through our lives to increase our levels of calcium for joint support, bone strength, muscle cramping, and other conditions, calcium, however, is often not enough. Without magnesium, calcium may not be fully utilized, and underabsorption problems may occur, leading to health issues. Do you feel constantly tired, have a lack of energy, or have that overwhelming feeling? It could be that you're not only consuming enough magnesium, but your supplement could also be the wrong type of magnesium. Magnesium that can be purchased from a store can be a magnesium in the form of inorganic salts that can come with warnings on their labels. For example, bloating, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and high doses can have serious complications. Introducing Caro Active Magnesium, considered by some as the world's best source and natural form of magnesium, and the way in which we should be consuming this important food ingredient. Loaded with the most magnesium-rich ingredients on the planet, Caro Active Magnesium contains the Australian naked pumpkin seed. This ingredient is known as one of the highest sources of magnesium in the world. The formulation also has sunflower seeds, which are rich in zinc, selenium, and manganese. These seeds also provide the body with the essential proteins and fats to assist the body's cardiovascular system. Carowa's active magnesium also contains wild foods such as lemon and anise myrtle that are extremely high in antioxidants to assist with cognitive enhancement, antioxidants and other phytonutrients. Australian-grown shiitake mushrooms are also added, and this provides the body with the all-important vitamin D for calcium and magnesium balance, skeletal and metabolic support. If you're taking too much calcium, you need to balance with magnesium, and one of the best ways is with a source of natural magnesium, like Carowa Active Magnesium. Magnesium is so important to the human body and is essential in supporting over 325 enzymes which are responsible for our metabolic function. Humans need to consume magnesium regularly, as low levels have been reported to have contributed to a wide range of health issues. The problem we face as a society in our Western diet is our calcium levels are sitting at a staggering 10-to-1 ratio of calcium to magnesium, when the desired ratio should be 1.7 to 1. This should convince us all to find a whole food source as an active natural source of magnesium that's easily absorbed into our system and side effect free to get our recommended daily intake. 100 years ago, we enjoyed a diet high in magnesium with a daily intake of 500 milligrams. Today, we're lucky to get 200 milligrams, and calcium in the diet has never been higher.
I think it's fascinating actually how far we've wandered from actually eating food, like proper food, and thinking that we can just substitute what was in that food as our diets become more and more processed. And, you know, I'm to blame as well, with synthesized vitamins and minerals. Now we are looking at Carowa activated magnesium. This is a fantastic magnesium. You can pop it into your biscuits, your pancakes, your omelette. You can pop it into your scrambled egg, and also the Chanka Plus. And we're saying buy the two of them together because you will get 2 months of the magnesium, 2 months of the Chanka Plus, and we'll find out why again in a moment, why we need both of those for an incredible price that you're going to see on your screen, and express free postage and handling. We love that. Now, Vic, we want to know the benefits really of both the magnesium and the Chanka Plus.
Absolutely. In many ways, it's going to give you an increased health span, a high quality health span, and potentially a longer lifespan as well, because it's going to start to address these two almost critical products are delivering functionality right through your body. I mean, magnesium is essential for healthy teeth and bones. It's essential for muscle, good muscle, well, muscles working, and also the muscles to support themselves and stay integral. Good for pretty much every organ in the body. You look at our biochemistry, it's working hundreds, literally hundreds of reactions depend on magnesium, either as what they call a cofactor or as part of the delivery vehicle for the energy molecule, the ATP, to be able to fuel that biochemical reaction. You've got things like membrane functions. If you think of a cell, food, waste can't get across the cell wall without magnesium involved. And magnesium balances so much of what calcium does as well, as I said, relaxing muscles and so forth. So essentially, it's hard to basically say that any one symptom or any collection of symptoms is going to be addressed, because what you'll find taking this, you'll find a lot of normalization happening. Your blood pressure basically typically goes back to normal. Your muscle function goes back to normal. You're sleeping
I was going to say mood and sleep
the
is
whole
a big
thing.
one.
The brain, they're finding now that all these diseases that we're suffering from, they're called just simply mental conditions, they're finding, the medical industry is saying these are incurable because they can't find the drugs to do anything. Well, in actual fact, we're finding that magnesium is now recommended for Parkinson's disease and Huntington's chorea and schizophrenia and so forth, and also by removing a lot of the calcification that's happening in the brain, the nerves and the structure of the brain itself, then that's going to, again, enliven and normalise the way that our brain is meant to be. So there's all that's involved. So effectively, you're just going to feel better. You're going to slowly recover the health. And part of what Chanka does is it addresses the calcium that's in your soft tissues from, your life of crime, eating modern foods, okay? And it'll sort of work on it. And we've actually got a bit of a protocol, which, you can get from the website, where you take, and the reason we put the bonus capsules in there is that what I do is from day one, I'll take 6 capsules, morning and night, and I'll do that for 3 days. Then I'll cut back to 2 capsules, and I do that for a week. And then for a month, or 3 times a month, I'm recycling that same thing. 6 capsules twice a day for 3 days, and then 2 capsules once a day for the rest of the week. And I do that now because I started, in fact, I had a problem with a kidney stone. All right. And the medical industry was, just clocking up a bill, and it was sort of almost like, it was ridiculous. I could have afforded a small car, I think, at the end of it. But rather than go that way, I, way back, discovered what is in Chanka Plus as a really good treatment, and I actually dissolve the stone, the kidney stone. Now, I'm not making claims directly. It's my
your experience,
anecdote, okay? I can't make a claim, but what I can say is a food-health relationship. And so what we're finding is that this food on its own with the Chanka Plus is a food, okay? And we've reformulated recently so that it doesn't even have GST anymore because it is a whole food, but we put it in a capsule so that you can measure how the functional food is going to deliver its product for you.
Why is that Chanka Plus slow release?
Well, it's slow release is a good point, because we didn't want all these nice ingredients to get into the stomach and be tackled and attacked by the acid in the stomach. So the slow release vegan capsule, it basically carries all the food ingredients past the stomach into the gut, and then your microbiome will enjoy the net digestive products that they then deliver to your bloodstream, again in a way that is activated because it's been through a microbial process. So there's that. And there's also straight absorption across the gut wall as well. So that's a really important part of why we do it in this form rather than serve it as a powder that is going to be, as a Chanka at least, serve the Chanka as a powder that then is going to be digested by or damaged essentially in the stomach. But on the other hand, the powdered magnesium is perfect to go through your system, through the stomach with food, and then eating it with a bit of fat is a good idea as well. So the fat of eggs, avocado is a great one. I love guacamole with the magnesium in it. Tastes really, really good. It gives it a nice nuttiness to it. And often I'll buy a calcium, no added calcium, no dairy or dairy-free yogurt. And Cocobella, I'll mention and add Cocobella Natural is probably one of the best and most easily available. And to a scoop of that, I'll be adding the magnesium. I add my Life product as well and mix it all up and eat that basically last thing at night. I sleep like a baby all night. So that again, get your sleep back to normal. Because we need to sleep also, because that's the time when our brain actually gets rid of its waste products. It goes through a thing called synaptic cleaving or synaptic pruning, if you like, and that gets rid of junk in your memories in your short-term memory that you don't need.
So is that where the magnesium comes in and can help with like detoxification or may assist with the...
Because magnesium is supporting the function of our organs.
Like our kidneys and
there you go, kidneys, liver, they are your 2 detoxifying organs. And so when they're running healthy and clear and no stones and ducts being blocked up, no crystals of anything, like uric acid, oxalic acid is a big one. We're being told to eat all these green leafy vegetables, and spinach and so many of them are actually loaded with calcium oxalate. And calcium oxalate is one of the principal crystals that will affect your joints, and gout is characterised by a lot of calcium oxalate.
Now, I want you to tell us what the deal is today, because I know you're very proud of it, and I can see you wanting to jump in every time I talk about it. Tell us what you're bringing us today.
Okay, well, the idea is 2 pouches. They're 500 grams each of the magnesium, and that's deal one. That's on its own. If you want to try the magnesium, that's fine. At least if you boost your magnesium intake, you're going to also start to reduce the impact of calcium that's in your body already. And you're actually also going to put a lot of the calcium that's freed up from the magnesium, it goes back into bones. So that's the deal for $92.95 plus postage and handling. The big deal though for me is the 2 packs in conjunction with the 2 Chanka Plus. 2 jars, and that is express post free, $181.45, and I'd go for that every day.
All right, amazing. That is a great deal. So jump on that. Just literally look at the number on your screen or go to the website. Now, here is your Karua story, and we'll be back just the other side of this.
While we are constantly told that calcium is essential for healthy teeth and bones, we all know people who have consumed dairy products all their lives and in their later years may have suffered from broken legs, hips and other bones from even a simple fall. A reason for this could be the imbalance between calcium and magnesium intake. Even though we're told through our lives to increase our levels of calcium for joint support, bone strength, muscle cramping, and other conditions, calcium, however, is often not enough. Without magnesium, calcium may not be fully utilized, and underabsorption problems may occur, leading to health issues. Do you feel constantly tired, have a lack of energy, or have that overwhelming feeling? It could be that you're not only consuming enough magnesium, but your supplement could also be the wrong type of magnesium. Magnesium that can be purchased from a store can be a magnesium in the form of inorganic salts that can come with warnings on their labels. For example, bloating, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and high doses can have serious complications. Introducing Karawa Active Magnesium, considered by some as the world's best source and natural form of magnesium, and the way in which we should be consuming this important food ingredient. Loaded with the most magnesium-rich ingredients on the planet, Karawa Active Magnesium contains the Australian naked pumpkin seed. This ingredient is known as one of the highest sources of magnesium in the world. The formulation also has sunflower seeds, which are rich in zinc, selenium, and manganese. These seeds also provide the body with the essential proteins and fats to assist the body's cardiovascular system. Karawa's Active Magnesium also contains wild foods such as lemon and anise myrtle that are extremely high in antioxidants to assist with cognitive enhancement, antioxidants and other phytonutrients. Australian-grown shiitake mushrooms are also added, and this provides the body with the all-important vitamin D for calcium and magnesium balance, skeletal and metabolic support. If you're taking too much calcium, you need to balance with magnesium, and one of the best ways is with a source of natural magnesium, like Karawa Active Magnesium. Magnesium is so important to the human body and is essential in supporting over 325 enzymes which are responsible for our metabolic function. Humans need to consume magnesium regularly, as low levels have been reported to have contributed to a wide range of health issues. The problem we face as a society in our Western diet is our calcium levels are sitting at a staggering 10-to-1 ratio of calcium to magnesium, when the desired ratio should be 1.7 to 1. This should convince us all to find a whole food source as an active natural source of magnesium that's easily absorbed into our system and side effect free to get our recommended daily intake. 100 years ago, we enjoyed a diet high in magnesium with a daily intake of 500 milligrams. Today, we're lucky to get 200 milligrams, and calcium in the diet has never been higher.
You're watching the Magnesium and Calcium Discovery Show. And I'm just looking at this magnesium. It's a natural whole food source of magnesium and does not contain synthetic, chemical or inorganic forms of magnesium. And that's really important. And I think if good health is important to you, if slowing down that aging process is important to you, avoiding becoming frail, perhaps in your bones and your body, and avoiding illness, then this is definitely a product that should be speaking to you. Now, I'm here with Vic, of course. It's Carowa, and he's got the Carowa Activated Magnesium and the Chanka Plus. Now, Vic, talk us through the triad poster that's about to come on our screen.
So this is an interesting model in a way. Right in the middle there you see aging, inflammaging, or metaflammation is what it's all about. And it creeps into all of the models that are represented by the coloured bands, if you like. So the orange one is it's actually it covers the cardiovascular diseases, so diseases of the heart and blood vessels. And I said a little bit about the calcification paradox. We know that if you get enough magnesium, then the calcification paradox totally disappears. But if you keep feeding people calcium in supplements and they keep eating food that is high in calcium, then sure, our bones still get weaker and all of these conditions are made worse. At the top, osteoporosis has to do with bones and bone density and bone strength. And there's another condition that links the third part of it, which is that blue-purple tick, if you like, and that band is the muscles and the cartilage and the tendons, in fact, also. So that's the whole muscular system. And so each of these is inversely or is damaged effectively by too much calcium and not enough magnesium in the diet. And so we get problems with calcification of soft tissues. We get what they call osteosarcopenia, which is bone and muscle wastage. And the net result is frailty, becoming dependent on, or in fact, losing your independence. So around the circle there, we've got the quality of life going down, independence going down, and unfortunately mortality and comorbidity increasing. Comorbidity means the complication of all these problems by a whole host of other conditions. And that could be loss of hearing. I hear that tinnitus is becoming a more prevalent problem. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, if you want to sort of check what I've been saying, if you want to get deeper into it yourself, go and look at any condition or any symptom you want in Google and put "and calcium." Okay, and calcium and calcification, and you will be drenched with paper after paper after paper.
You have come up with a way to support those issues that we might be experiencing. One is the Chanka Plus, which may assist in the gelatinizing those calcified deposits in our soft tissues.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's a really interesting point in actual fact, just to elaborate, because if you've got this calcium lump in your soft tissues, and maybe it's on the inside of an arterial wall, maybe it's inside the wall of the artery, you don't want that calcium just coming off as a stone. And the interesting thing, and the reason that the herb is called Chanka, or Chanka piedra, the reason it is so important is that it will almost wear away. It gelatinizes the stone, the calcium granule, in almost onion layers, and they peel off and then they go off and gently it gets back into your system. So it's not dislodged the calcium thing and now you've got all your capillaries blocked. Okay, that's a problem in itself. No, it actually goes to a soft plug which is able to squeeze through a capillary in actual fact and get this moved back into the waste system of your liver and your kidneys. So that's super important in that regard.
What am I feeling at home, Vic? I'm watching, I've just switched on and I'm like, what are they on about? Calcium and magnesium. I don't need any of that. I've got my tablets in my cupboard.
In the cupboard.
What am I feeling?
You should feel ripped off because you've spent money on calcium supplements, okay? Yeah. You should feel probably, if you're taking those calcium or you're ignoring the situation, then you'll be feeling things like constantly fatigued, okay? You sort of just don't have the energy. It's like you get up and go, just got up and went and left you behind. Sleep is not maybe as smooth or as enjoyable or, as you'd like, and interrupted with all sorts of things. And then, you wake up and you think, oh, I may as well go and have a pee or whatever. And so even more disrupted, all right? So there's a challenge there. You want to be able to sleep a good length of time, get into that important part of the sleep cycle, good deep REM sleep, so that your brain is doing its things in maintaining your health. Other things would be, what are your muscles doing? Are you feeling stronger and stronger every day? Are you getting into, I'm 70 next year and I'm doing band work and...
Wow.
Well,
look at you,
and,
saucy pickle.
Absolutely. And,
Sorry, I took it.
The whole deal is that, I feel literally as energetic and as strong as I did when I was 30. So forget 60 being, or 30 being the new 60. No, 70, 80, I've got projects now that I can plan for being 110 if the planet's still here when I'm that age. But anyway, that's another story. But the strength, the robustness, your mental acuity as well, and how you can read a scientific paper and digest the stuff that's in there with the jargon they use and stick with it for hours at a time. I'm reading academic reviews and peer-reviewed monographs every day and studying various aspects of the nutritional work that I do in terms of nutritional science. And it is pretty thick going. And so I realise also sort of sometimes you think, well, this was almost a problem when I was at uni way back.
Yeah.
I would lose my concentration back then.
Yeah.
And, you go off chasing girls. But here, you're able to focus. The cognitive awareness, the cognitive health is enhanced. So you know that your brain function's improved.
I think I have to say that I believe that aging is a gift. It's a gift we're given. It's not something that we can take for granted, that we're necessarily going to be getting old. But as we're getting old, it's the quality. I would rather have the aging with the quality of life.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And you should be hunting out steps and stairs, because walking downstairs as they do, the whole Mediterranean diet is only effective because of the Sardinian steps and the wild foods that they harvested as well around the villages and along the shores of the Mediterranean. There are 300 different foods around the Mediterranean. That's why there's healthy people living around in the villages today.
And we've got wild herbs in here as antioxidants.
We have wild herbs. The thing is, not just antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, they've got active minerals as well. And there's a whole story about active minerals. Minerals in a tablet or as crushed rocks typically do not work because they're inorganic, okay? What we need, I was talking to you before about going out with Aboriginal women, and basically we were going to eat some clay, find some clay that they ate, and when I analysed it back in the lab, it was loaded with iron, copper, all the minerals that you need, as well as calcium, magnesium, bucket loads, tiny amount of calcium, but there was so much magnesium it didn't matter. And that's the thing, if you can boost your magnesium, if you can also with the Chanka Plus go to, in a way, reducing the tissue load of calcium and also making sure that the calcium that's in your system is doing the right thing and having magnesium put it back into where it belongs, teeth and gums, you can actually heal dental caries. Okay,
may assist in the healing of
may assist as well.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that the evidence is that you may be able to, given right microbial load in your mouth as well. So good antimicrobial spray in the mouth really works with magnesium and Chanka Plus.
How do we take the Chanka and how do we take the magnesium?
The Chanka Plus is in capsules, in vegan, slow-release vegan capsules. And so this is delivered past the stomach into the gut. 2 capsules a day is the main dose, but there's a bit of a clean-up dose of 6 capsules, morning and night for 3 days, about every week to 10 days. Once you've been doing that for a couple of months, you can cut back to just 2 a day. And again, what I find is if I go at a party and I eat an amazing dessert at a birthday party or whatever, or if I have too much sugar in my diet, then again, you can actually take an extra load of 2 tablets of the Chanka, and part of its role is also to
to mop up the crime.
Yeah, to mop up the crime, absolutely. Yeah, it cleans up after the scene of the crime. But it basically stops your glucose from peaking. Okay, so it's amazing
well, we
stuff.
have come to the end of our journey. Wow, there's so much to absorb
There
there.
is.
I just know that if Vic brings it, I've got to have it. Now, talk us through the deal, Vic, because we've got about a minute left before we have to say goodbye.
2 offers. If you want to just try the magnesium again, if cramps are a problem for you, if sleep's a problem for you, if energy's a problem, you can just go for the 2 bags of the active magnesium, and that's $92.95 plus postage and handling, or the gourmet, the boutique, the top of the line, the Blue Ridge offer. 2 bags of 2 pouches of magnesium. It comes with a scoop inside, so you basically know exactly how much you've got, how much you need. Chanker comes with it. You got 2 months supply.
Thank you so much, Vic Cherikoff, Karawa Activated Magnesium. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.